All right. Blessings and shalom. Blessings and shalom. So good to be here tonight on this Wednesday night. I know we probably, you know what? I think for this summer, I think we'll switch. No, I'm not sure. I shouldn't say that, but we're going to go with Wednesday night tonight. But typically our Bible studies are on Tuesday nights, and unfortunately, the last couple of Tuesday nights, I've been preoccupied and I've had to reschedule. However, Um, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But you will get plenty of notification if the Bible study will be on Wednesday nights. All right. So blessings and shalom once again, guys. Do me a favor really quick. Do me a favor really quick. If you can go ahead and thumb up the video, share the live, thumb up the video and share the live. I see in the chat um, that there's some talk about ICE and what's going on in um, California. Not in my area, but I'm sure that there are various kinds of task force that we sometimes we forget that we're still in captivity. Now, I know some of you may say, "I'm not in captivity. I'm not enslaved." You're not reading your Bible, okay? And then if you are reading, you're not understanding. And we are definitely in captivity. Um, don't care how many laws they pass to give you freedom that you were born with. Come on and go with me here. You're still in captivity. Whenever you have to, guys, listen carefully. This is, Bible 101. Really, it's politics 101 too. Whenever you have to beg and plead and ask for something that is God-given, you're in captivity. Come on, let's stop. Let's not make this difficult. When you have to beg and plead for some stuff, if I'm just going to get right down, when you have to beg and plead for some stuff that God gave you already, you're in captivity. So we need to stop fooling ourselves and thinking that just because they give us a little slice of freedom here, a little slice of freedom there. And listen, when I say they, I'm not talking about any particular race or color, nationality. No, no, no. I'm talking about the disciples of the enemy. He has his disciples. You do know that this enemy, he is the God of this world. Go on and go with me. Oh yes, you don't know that. So he's going to run his plan until the Most High pulls his chain. So we need to stop for a moment and really realize that the God of this world is running the show for now, and the Most High will put an end to his reign. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, if you're not familiar, verse 4 tells us all about, as a matter of fact, you know what? You guys are going to make me have a Bible study before the Bible study. I get it's so interesting to me that you can tell that people are blind or they're just not aware. So 2 Corinthians 4 and 4 says, well, actually, let's go to verse 3. But if our gospel would be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world has blinded their minds, of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Listen, this world is under the sway of the wicked one. Oh yeah. And so when we talk about, I was talking to someone else about, ICE and oh, they were complaining. Oh my God, I can't believe how, you know, the injustice is just running rampant. I can't believe that Trump is, doing all these. I say, hey, listen, if your hope is in a man and his name is not Yeshua, come on and go with me here, then you fresh out of luck. You need to realize that maybe your mind is blinded by the God of this world. So, is ICE doing things? I'm sure they are. They've been doing things, whether it's on the news or not. Come on. Come on, people. Again, we are in captivity, and in captivity, you have all manner of wickedness that is going on. Now, this could be a whole lesson, but I'm not going to make it a whole lesson. The bigger question is, why are we in captivity, and why are these things happening? That's the ultimate question that will give you a better understanding of why these things are happening. Yes, why are we in captivity? Why are we here in this country where English is not our native language? That our ancestors were brought here. Yeah, I'm gonna go here because for those of you who get upset when people talk about our ancestors being brought here, you're blinded. Again, you're blinded. You have no sense of history. I'm gonna just tell you like it is, whether you like it or not. You just have to deal with it because I'm tired of baby caking and patty caking and babysitting believers. We need to mature in the faith and start reading our Bible and not just reading, but studying our Bible. Because listen carefully. There are people who don't have the truth who know more about our Bibles than we do. Straight up. That should not be. That should not be because we're spending too much time doing other activities. We put more other activities in the forefront, and then we put the activities that we need to put on the forefront, those are in the back burner. Yeah. How many hours do you log studying per week? No, I don't mean listening, studying. What kind of Bible study tools do you have? Do you spend your money on, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but I'm just asking a question. Do you spend your money on trinkets for you or tools to study with? Come on, when was the last time you bought a tool to study the scriptures with? Well, you don't pass it. You don't have to buy. Well, no, listen carefully. Where your treasure is, your heart is. If you treasure trinkets and things and jewelry and clothes and electronics, that's where your heart is. Come on and go with me here. We spend money on stuff we love and desire. So once again, when was the last time you bought study tools? I don't mean a leather case for your Bible. Come on and go with me. Lord help us. So yes, we got to get into this word, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, guys. I'm super excited. I hate to come off very blunt, but that's just the type of person I am. I don't sugarcoat, and you can ask my daughter about that. I've been talking to her like that ever since she was able to talk to me. Um, yes, I am wise. I don't overshare with her, but I've been blunt from day one. And if you hide things from your children, let me say this. If you hide things from your children because you're afraid to talk to them about what's really happening in this world, they're going to grow up and they're going to be deceived because you decided not to tell them the truth. Now, I'm not talking about telling the truth about the Easter Bunny and who Santa Claus is. You shouldn't even have to tell them the truth about that. That should be something that, but I know we're all coming out of this pagan brainwashing, so there's grace there. However, our children are exposed to all manner of wickedness every day. And if they can't come to a place where they're getting the truth told to them with just the same energy and fire, our children are going to be swallowed up. So we need to give them the tools to fight with instead of giving them toys to play with. Come on and go with me here. Well, I just want them to have a better life than me. What are you talking about? They have a better life. They already have a better life because you're in the word like your mom and them wasn't. You're living the word like your mom and daddy wasn't. You're not sleeping around, hoeing around. You're following the scriptures. They're already living a better life. You're exposing them to the truth. What do you mean? You got to give them a better life by giving them clothes and shoes and, well, I didn't have it. That's silliness when you consider what the hell we're dealing with in this earth. Yeah, I said it. You got a problem with it? Turn off. Turn me off if you can't handle that. Bounce. Yes. So we're dealing with all manner of evil, and you worried about me saying hell. Ah, you got to drink to that. What's wrong with me? Nothing. I just wishing somebody would get on this warfare and fight these battles with me instead of sitting on the sideline. No, you don't have to ask the coach, can you come in? He's equipped you to get on the field and let's do damage. Put a one in the chat if you with me. Let's see how many ones we get. All right, let's go. Y'all tired of me ranting and raving. I'm excited though. I'm excited. Turn with me to the book of Jeremiah. Guys, we are in a new series. You can see it on your screen. We have just finished dealing with Shavuot. Praise the Most High for a wonderful time that we had in the Word, learning about Shavuot and learning that according to Ezekiel 36 and 27, Jeremiah 31, we learned that the Ruach Kodesh, the Holy Spirit, was given to us and was given for the purpose of us following the Torah. And so you have these false teachers today that try to confuse worshiping on Sunday with honoring Shabbat, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And we're going to see further as we delve into the word of Yah tonight. We're going someplace, guys. I want you to go with me. And I want you to go grab your Bibles. I want you to go grab your paper, your pen, your notepads. I want you to go grab every single thing you need in order to study with us tonight. Right. All right. I'm looking for, I'm going to share something with you as we are about to get started here. Guys, do me a favor too, while you're waiting, do me a favor, thumb up the video and share the live, if you will. Thumb up the video and share the live, guys. Blessings. If you can do that. Oh, Sister, look, she's my, look, we even got some folks, they just dropped off. Bye. You can't handle this truth? Deuces. We don't want you here anyway. Oh yeah, I'm telling it like it is, you guys, because when someone in your family gets caught up in a cult, when your daughter, when your son gets caught up, one of the first people you're going to come to is the pastor. And listen, the type of pastor I am, I want you to come before that happens. I want you to be riding with us before all hell breaks, before the enemy comes for your home. I want you to be riding with it and be prepared for that day. Come on and go with me. Listen, I don't want to prepare you to be a spiritual wimp. Don't know how to articulate, cannot stand up and defend the faith. Always have to ask the pastor, well, pastor, what do we do? No. I want to equip you and pass on the faith to you. So guess what? So that you could do it for someone else. It's called discipleship. Okay. Here's a question I usually ask people. If the faith that, oh, no, no, let me start like this. If you were living during the time of Yeshua and you were his only disciple, you were Yeshua's only disciple, I want you to take your mentality right now. If you were Yeshua's only disciple, would the faith go any further than you? Come on and go with me. Come on and go with me here. Or would it die with you? Would it live or would it die? I want you to think about that. Welcome for those of you who are coming back and those of you who are joining. Thumb up the video, share the live. I have a question. If you were living during the time of Yeshua and you were his only disciple and he passed the faith to you and said, I want you to go ye therefore, teach all nations. I'm passing and I'm entrusting the faith and the gospel to you. Would it die with you or would it live? Oh, it would live, Pastor. Oh, really? So let me ask you this next question. Who are you discipling right now? Who are you teaching right now? No, no, don't say your kids. No, no. You're supposed to teach your kids. You already have an obligation to take it, no, no, outside of your family. Who are you discipling? See, these are the kinds of questions that Sunday church don't ask because they know people are going to get mad. They're not going to give an offering. Come on and go with me. And they're not going to come back the next Sunday. And so that's, how much is, okay, that's, tithing is 10% of that. That's per month. That's, yeah, he can't afford that. Come on and go. He can't afford to say that. See? Because he's thinking about, dang, that's 1,000 per month from them. That's another 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, no, I can't say that. I can't make sister so-and-so mad because she not going to tithe next week. Mm-mm. Look, I'm going to let the word of Yah have free course. And it's going to hit how it hits. Come on and go with me. All right. I want to show you this chart on the screen here. We just finished celebrating. I can't even talk. We just finished celebrating Shavuot, Hag Sameach, Shavuot, and the next Moedim or Moed, and Moed. I'm going to put this in the chat. How many of you guys know what Moed or Moedim means? Moed is singular. Moedim is plural. How many know what a Moed or Moedim is? What is a Moedim or Moed? It's an appointed time. That's what Moed means. It is an appointed time. And so here's the big question. Who's doing the appointing? Okay, right? And so if we go to Leviticus chapter 23, that is the chapter where all of the Moedim are. Okay, so Leviticus 23. I'm going to show you something, guys. Because sometimes we get this confused. Some people get it confused, but I know none of us here because we've been learning. So notice this. I want you to see this. It says, and the Lord, verse 1, and the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of who? Who do these feasts or Moedim belong to? The Lord. They're not the Jewish feast. They don't belong to the Jewish people. Come on and go with me. They belong to the Lord. They're his. He says, you shall proclaim, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are whose feasts? my feasts, the Most High says. They belong to me. And uh-oh, guess what the first one is? Guess what the first one is? It is the Sabbath. Yes, a feast day. Yes, it is a appointed time. Listen, the Most High has appointed the seventh day to be honored and set aside and set apart for him. Now, I'm going to do a lesson. I'm going to have to do a lesson on what are the requirements for honoring and keeping Shabbat. What does the Most High require when it comes to keeping Shabbat? What will make him pleased? What will please him when it comes to keeping Shabbat? Well, I could tell you what won't please him. And if we go to, what did he say? He said, oh goodness, what's that passage? Oh, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. However, let's get back to the feast days and Yom Teruah, the day of shouting or trumpets. Yom Teruah is coming up. And Yom Teruah is going to be in September. Now, you may say, well, Pastor, why are we talking about this so early? We're leading up to it. I want you, by the time we get to Yom Teruah, or the Feast of Trumpets, I want you to completely understand what it's all about. Okay? I'm going to put this in the chat. It's in Leviticus 23, 24, and 25. And we'll be talking about this, so that you can have a complete understanding. Now, I want to share one last thing. We're going to get into the lesson. Guys, don't be deceived by individuals that will tell you that all of these feasts have been fulfilled in Yeshua, so we don't have to do them anymore. Guys, don't be deceived. And I'm going to show you tonight and in the next coming, as a matter of fact, I think our midweek Bible study, I'm going to teach this series, and then on Shabbats, on the Sabbath, I'm going to start a series on pleasing the Most High, how to honor and keep Shabbat. I think that's what I'll do. I'll start this coming Shabbat. Oh, we're gonna find out some interesting things, because many of us don't realize that we could be dishonoring the Shabbat. We have a good heart. We just don't know. We just don't know. And we're gonna learn. And I'm looking forward to it. All right. So considering Yom Teruah is coming up, and here are the dates. I put them in the chat. So go ahead and mark your calendars off. I put the day you should take off work. Many of you, you're going to be taking off on this Tuesday, the 23rd of September. So go ahead and mark your calendars and go ahead and put that time in. Try to switch with someone if you, and pray above all. But this is how we honor and keep the Moedim. Okay. And so we're going to get into this particular Moedim. But let's go back to Jeremiah, where our lesson is. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16 and 17. Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16 and 17. Guys, do me a favor once again. Please go ahead and thumb up the video and share the live, if you will, guys. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to do the same thing here. as I get ready to begin. Thumb up the video, share the live as we get ready. Guys, we have some very interesting things that we're going to be dealing with because, we're living in times right now where sometimes it's hard to know, dang, who's telling the truth? Does anyone have the truth? You hear some truth over here, you have some truth over here. You're confused over here, you're confused over there. Everybody's saying it sounds like, the same thing. I don't know what to believe. It's just better to just let everybody believe in what they want to believe. And that's just a more peaceful way. All this confusion with trying to figure out what's the truth, and many people give up. Guys, we're not giving up. We're going to fight because the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but it's given to those that endure until the end. We got to endure, guys. We got to have endurance. So, what are we doing on tonight? We're building endurance. We're down at the gym. Let's get it in. Jeremiah chapter 6. Jeremiah chapter 6. And we're going to go ahead and start in verse 16. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Guys, I really do recommend that you read Jeremiah chapter 6. Really, Jeremiah, the entire book, but at least sometime, since we're going to be in this series, you should definitely read chapter 6. And then I would read chapter 1 all the way up to chapter 6. And we got to remember who Jeremiah is. We got to remember that Jeremiah, first of all, he is a prophet. And we need to understand when Jeremiah was prophesying, since he was a prophet. Now, I know when I get into these, it just takes me way off. Um, but it's still a part of the lesson. So, Jeremiah was definitely a prophet to Israel. And Jeremiah speaks very bluntly. I love Jeremiah. Um, and I believe they call Jeremiah the weeping prophet. Um, and Jeremiah ministered in the sixth century, which is the 500. So guys, this is another important thing too. We got to get our centuries down. So whenever you say sixth century, you go count one number back, and that's the 500s. So the second century, let's do a test. The second century is the 100s. The third century is the 200s. I know I used to get confused about that, but once you know, start, yeah, hey, make a chart. Make a chart. Just write first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all the way to the 20th. What are we, 21st century? Yeah, 21st century. Just make a chart and then put the numbers. So the first century is 0 to 99. Second century, 100 to 199. Okay, and that's how you will gain an understanding of the century. So Jeremiah is a prophet in the sixth century, which is the 500s, and he prophesied primarily to the kingdom of Judah. Okay, the southern kingdom. Northern kingdom had already went into captivity. Well, the kingdom was divided. Northern kingdom went into captivity. Northern kingdom is called Israel. The southern kingdom is called um, Judah. And so here's another good thing to really understand. when Jeremiah was prophesying, you need to find out who were the kings that the prophet was supposed to be, I should even say, keeping in line, making sure they were following Torah. Okay? And so Jeremiah was the prophet during the fall to Babylon in 586 BC. And so this is very, very important basic outline and knowledge to understand. And so we're in chapter 6 and verse 16. Okay. And chapter 6, we're dealing again with some unfaithfulness. Come on and go with me. Now, some people may be thinking, dang, Pastor, do you have anything positive to say? This is positive. Okay, we're letting people know how not to stay in captivity, how not to anger the Most High, and to do the things that please Him. Okay? And so when we get to verses 16, the people have begun to reject the Most High. Okay, the enemies are approaching. Chapter 1, not chapter 1, but verse 1 talks about the enemy from the north is coming, and this enemy who's approaching from the north, of course, is Babylon, and it destroys Jerusalem. And so this judgment, why is the enemy coming from the north to destroy? Why is Nebuchadnezzar coming to destroy Jerusalem and the Israelite people, our ancestors? Well, that's what we're going to find out tonight. But in a nutshell, if you look at verses 9 through 15, you'll see. However, when we get to 16, verse 16, notice this. Notice what the word says. It says, thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? We got anybody asking where is the good way? How many people do you know that are asking for the old paths and the good way? I don't know too many. I know people that are trying to make their own way. They're not looking for the old path. They say the old path is outdated. It's not relevant for today. It's old fashioned. That old stuff doesn't work today. Where is the remnant of faithful believers that are looking for the old path and the good way? Where is the good way? And then he says, once you find the old path, the good way, he says, walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But guess what the people said? We will not walk in it. Oh my God. And guess what they're saying today? Oh, yes. Guess what? Our children, guess what? Our mamas, our daddies, our cousins, our uncles, our aunties, and all, they're saying we will not walk therein. Let me tell you how. The first thing they're saying is we don't want to walk in keeping Shabbat. We really hate doing it. I'm forced to do it. That's the only reason why I do it. All right. And then those that know the truth, they say, Pastor, I know I'm supposed to be doing it, but I just can't. Weak-minded. And so if you cannot honor and keep Shabbat, That's one of the first tests to see how much you love Yeshua. If you say you love me, Yeshua said, then keep the commandments. So 17, verse 17. Also, I set watchmen over you. People like me. People, we don't want nobody over us. Everything, listen, a pastor's job is easy. Everybody's loving a pastor until he starts telling you about yourself. And it's not really telling you about yourself, it's telling you about what the Lord expects of you. Everyone is in love with the pastor when he's funny, when he's comedic, when he's showing personality, when he's charismatic. But as soon as he starts preaching the word, this church is not good. The anointing is not here. The devil is a lie. So he says, I've set watchmen over you, saying, listen and obey. That's what this word hearken means. To the sound of the trumpet. Come on and go with me. Listen to the sound of the trumpet. Now, the trumpet had various purposes for it. Some trumpet sounds were to prepare the people for war. Some trumpet sounds were to let the people know that there was a new king being installed. And then some trumpet sounds were for the Feast of Trumpets. And this is what we're going to discover today. And as we continue this lesson, we're going to see that this sound of the trumpet, people don't want to hear it. People don't want the sound of the trumpet. Because the trumpet, guys, is very important. The trumpet gives you a clue as to your response, what your response should be. And we got many people who say they believe in the Most High and they don't know what the right response is. Why don't they know? Because they're not familiar with the sound of the trumpet. But tonight, we're going to explain why. We're going to explain why. So tonight, we're going to talk about the shofar, which was used. I wish I had my shofar with me. That's in the other room. But the shofar before the sword. In other words, there's a warning before the judgment. And here's my question to you. Where are you standing? Where are you standing? Are you standing, listening for the shofar? Or are you standing, waiting for the sword of judgment? Where are you standing? Let's get it tonight. Let's go here. I'm going to jump right in, guys. Jeremiah's voice echoes through history all the way to us to this very moment. With clarity, he's clear, calling Israel. Now remember, Israel is a combination of Israelites and Gentiles who believe in Yeshua. Thank you. Give me a second. Oh, thank you. Look at here. Okay. Here's an example of a shofar. Okay. Here is an example of a shofar. Okay. And so the watchman would blow the trumpet, would blow the shofar, and based on the sound, it would let people know what kind of actions they were. And here's my other shofar. Okay. And they would blow the trumpet, right? And when those sounds went forth, you had to modify your behavior. And in this particular passage, Jeremiah, the sound of the trumpet was calling people back to the ancient paths. And the ancient paths, you guys, are rooted in Yah's Torah, where rest, life, and blessings are found. Tragically, though, tragically, both Israel, ancient Israel, during Jeremiah's time, and the modern day Gentile church, then and today, responded with, what did we say they responded with? We will not walk in it. Walk in what? The Torah. And guys, we have to understand this. The ancient path, as we're going to get into the Hebrew, is going to let us know that the ancient paths are the instructions of the Torah. They rejected the shofar blast that came with a warning. And this warning was warning them to return to the Torah. And that symbolized their love for Yah and their willing obedience to the divine instructions. It's very important. Willing obedience to divine instructions. And see, here's the thing. Because they are divine, that means they come from the source of these instructions. They come from an all-wise God. And listen, he knows best how we should walk. And that's why he gave us his divine instructions. And so this call to stand, look, ask, and then walk reflects the very heart of Deuteronomy chapter 30. Can we go there? Deuteronomy chapter 30? I want to show you something. This call, it reflects what Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15 says. Look, watch this, guys. See, this shofar, that's why I said the shofar or the sword. Come on and go with me. And we need to understand that the shofar is always going to come before the sword. So let's go to Deuteronomy because I want you to see this. Verse 15. See, the Most High says, I have set before you this day life and good, or death and evil. In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess. Now, some people say, well, Pastor, we don't have to follow these commands anymore because the Israelites, they've already possessed the land. Notice what he says here, though, in 17. But if thine heart turn away from what? Turn away from the Torah, so that thou wilt not hear, but thou shalt be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. I denounce unto you this day that you shall surely perish. That means even when you get in the land, I want you to still walk in the Torah. He says that, and that you shall not prolong your days upon the earth or upon the land where thou passest over the Jordan to go and possess it. He says you may, see, a lot of people know how to get to the land, but you don't know how to keep it. How many of you guys have had a blessing that you didn't know what to do with? Come on and go with me here. You didn't realize it was a blessing until it was gone. You didn't realize how much it was good for you until it was gone. You didn't appreciate it until it was gone. Come on and go with me. So notice what he says. I call heaven and earth, verse 19, to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death. We know this, blessing and cursings. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your seed may live. See, this is how we know that these Torah commands, these divine instructions have not ceased. Come on, go with me. We're going to get further into that because they were not just for you in your lifetime, but it was for your seed to live and be blessed, and for their seed and their seed and their seed until what? Until we were born this day. So I want you to look back at your parents. Did they pass on this understanding of living by the Torah to you? Go ahead, take a look. Verse 20, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life and the length of thy days, that thou may dwell in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them. So this understanding of walking in the ways goes back to this choice that we all have to make this day. So that covenant is not abandoned. Is that covenant wasn't pushed to the side in the New Testament? Come on and go with me. Because it was for the seed of each generation to continue. Why would you allow your pastor to lie to you and say that this way of living is done away with? Listen, keeping the commands determines if you have blessings or cursings. But you're listening to a man and a woman in these days who are telling you to choose the cursings. And you willingly do it. They're asking you to participate in your own demise. This covenant is not abandoned in the New Testament. It is reaffirmed, reclarified, and refocused. And so the new covenant is not getting rid of, abandoning the old path. It's reaffirming it. It's reclarifying and refocusing it in the teachings of Yeshua and the apostles. Now, the teachings of Yeshua and the apostles are the same teachings that the divine instructions that were given to the Israelites. Come on and go with me. Despite this historical record, listen carefully, from the 2nd century onward, that means from the 100s, after Yeshua died, was resurrected in 33, 34 AD, which was the 1st century, all the way to 70 AD, which was the destruction of the temple. And when we get into the 100s, 2nd century, Gentile Church Fathers begin to turn away from this biblical foundation. They not only rejected the Moedim and the Torah, but also they actively waged polemics. Write that word down, guys. Polemics is a very, guys, I'm telling you, once we get into reading these church fathers to understand the context. Now, a polemic is just a systematic argument. Okay? It's a systematic argument. It's not an emotional argument. A polemic is a systematic argument against the practices commanded by Yah and upheld by the apostles. Yes. Pastor, what are you saying? The Gentile Church Fathers who dominated the church after 70 AD and 132 AD, the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, and the Bar Kokhba revolt in 132 AD, which drove out all the Israelites from Israel, most of them. As a matter of fact, it drove out the leaders. Gentile leadership began to take over in the church. And guess what they did? They just scrapped all of the commands in Torah. And this is why people who go to church on Sunday have no clue about what the Moedim are. This is why they say things like, well, you know, Torah has been fulfilled in Jesus and we don't have to do it anymore. And no, don't misunderstand me and don't read into anything I'm saying so that you can build an argument with a straw man. Listen carefully to my words. I never said anything about keeping Torah means that you earn your salvation through keeping the Torah. No, no man is justified by the works of the law. No. So don't misrepresent anything I'm saying so that you can try to win some argument against me because you will get chewed up. Okay? Deal with the fact that the church fathers handed down to us a gutter faith called Christianity. But we're getting back to the true faith. This apostasy didn't develop overnight, but century by century until the watchmen's warnings were completely ignored. Completely ignored. What remains is a remnant cry. That's what you hear tonight. It's a cry from the remnant. And this cry is going to continue. I don't know who's listening. I don't know who I'm influencing, but someone is going to pick up the baton and run with this. We got people doing it all over. But someone who's hearing my voice is going to pick up the baton and they're going to run with it until we get to Revelation chapter 14. The generation that will one day not see death, the generation that will be caught up in the air, not before, I want to go with me here. Listen, let me just say this. There's no biblical idea called the rapture. Sorry. That is a teaching of Christianity. It's not biblical. Okay? Read Matthew chapter 24. There's no rapture before the judgment. No. Oh no. Read Matthew 24. And so this final generation of believers who won't see death, but will be called up in the air. And they're defined as saints who have the faith in Yeshua and keep the commandments of the Most High. As we stand at our own crossroad today, here's my question. Where are you standing? Return to the ancient path or follow the roads that are paved by centuries of compromise and disobedience? Centuries of compromise and rebellion. Where do you stand? Are you standing paused to hear the Torah, to hear the sound of the shofar? Or are you poised to ignore it and say, we don't want it? We don't want to walk in it. Well, Jeremiah gives us some encouragement, guys, and we're going to get into this tonight. I want to deal with some understanding. I want to give us some understanding. So, guys, you're gonna need pens and paper, guys. I really want you to take these notes. Let's go to Jeremiah 6 and 16. And I'm gonna highlight some words here. I'm gonna highlight 4 words. Stand is one. I'm gonna put these in the chat, and we're gonna go through each one of these. Stand, and then old, and paths, and then the last word is walk. Now, oh no, no. The last word is, give me a second. I think it's way. Oh yes, and ways. Okay. We're gonna break these words down and look at these words, guys. All right. And so when we go to Jeremiah chapter 6, the command, this is a command. Notice what he says here. He says, "Thus say the Lord, stand." It's he's commanding you to rise up. Eid do. I'm sorry, im do. Im do. He says, right, it comes from the word amad. It's an imperative, it means it's a command. The Most High is telling you, wherever you are, whatever you're dealing with, whoever you're listening to, that's causing you to think in a certain way that is turning you away from the Most High in the Torah. He's saying, no, I want you to stand your ground. See, here's the problem with standing your ground. It's going to make people that you love mad at you. Come on and go with me. But see, here's the problem. We choose the people we love over the Most High's command. He says, no, I want you, I'm commanding you actually, to continue to raise up, stop bending over. In other words, this word is very interesting. Imdu in the Hebrew, it actually means to withstand. That means because you're walking in the Torah and you're returning to the old path, there are going to be people who have no understanding, whose minds are blinded by the God of this world. They're going to have a problem with how you're walking. And guess what they're going to do as a result of that? Those questions and comments, they're not coming from curiosity. Oh, you think they're curious and interested? No, 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 no. It's ridicule. Oh, yes, it is. An antagonism. Why? Why is that? Because you are bringing light into darkness. Come on and go with me here. And so this word imdu carries with it the idea that you need to withstand the onslaught that's going to hit you when you decide to walk in the old path. Are y'all with me? I'm trying to prepare you. And you're going to be surprised. Oh, you think you holier than thou now? Absolutely, I am. Yes, I do. No, as a matter of fact, I know. Come on and go with me here. Look, don't let someone try to make you feel guilty because they're living foul. God, come on and go with me here. Don't let my holiness go to your head. I know I got to get ghetto with it a little bit. Mm. I can get technical too and academic, however you want it. He says, I want you to take a stand. See, I want you to take a stand in your attitude. It's what this word do communicates. And what Jeremiah was trying to get the people of the Most High to understand that what's coming around the corner with Nebuchadnezzar, if your mind is not right, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Listen, if you've been in the faith 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and you don't know no Bible, you can't teach or disciple someone, you're not going to make it. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100. You should be at a point in your life, if you've been in the faith longer than 5 years, listen carefully, you can get a master's degree, a bachelor's and a master's in 7 years. And that qualifies you to lead people. Come on and go with me here. Come on and go with me. But you've been in the faith for triple that. And you can barely lead yourself. And the reason why is because your mind is not prepared to stand and withstand the onslaught that comes with living Torah. Oh, see, we got people who are just moving and shifty. God says, stop, halt, and just stand. Stand there. When so-and-so comes over, you move around and do this. When someone else comes over, you move over here to do this. You're moving in all these different positions to please everybody. And God says, stop and stand. Stand still, as a matter of fact. Don't go any further. Stop moving to make others comfortable. Stop it. Now, some people are like, well, shoot, who is he to tell? This is the word of the Most High. See, I'm blowing the trumpet right now. I'm blowing the shofar. I'm blowing the shofar. Listen, I'm trying to warn. I'm blowing the shofar before the sword. But because you got an attitude with me, your hearing is not so well. So he says, stand. Withstand, stop moving, stop shuffling, stop smiling when nothing's funny, and stop scratching when nothing's itching. Come on and go with me here. See, people don't like brothers like me. Straight, I'm just gonna say it. And they're not gonna like sisters like you. But guess who loves us? Guess who loves us? And that's all that matters. The Most High's love is better than anyone. Oh, taste and see how sweet, sweeter than a honeycomb. His love is sweeter than the honeycomb. And that's all I need. If you want to withhold your love, your respect, your kindness, and your obedience because you got a problem with me following the Torah, deuces. Listen, I don't care what kind of relationship it is. Mother, wife, sister, brother, niece, daughter, son, whoever you are. If you love me, you will love my walk in Torah. See, we got to get to a point where we're not playing with people and their feelings. Listen up. Because some of you guys are going to miss the horn and the sound of the shofar because you got a problem with me. Woo! He says, stand. He's telling you, stop bending over, stop shuffling and dancing and laughing and giggling when you should be walking in the word. And then watch this, being able to explain completely why you're doing it. And if anybody rises up with sarcasm, with cynicism against the word, put them in their place. Well, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by put them in their place? You speak the word, you speak the truth in love. That's putting them in their place. What does that mean, actually? What does that look like? Well, it looks like this. If you've ever lived with roaches, I know my mind is if you've ever lived with roaches, it's an analogy. When light comes on, all those roaches that was kicking it, that was all in your stuff, disrespecting your dishes, disrespecting your food, when that light comes on, they're gone. In the same way, come on and go with me here. In the same way, when you walk in the room and your light is shining because you're walking in Torah and you can back up everything you do with what you say, you can come clean with the word, you can answer any question. You don't have a problem if they want to get low and dirty with it, you can go there too, but you refuse to go low and dirty because you serve a God that sits on high, and I refuse to lower myself to your standards. I'm going to raise you up, or you're going to have to deal with the Most High. That's what standing looks like. That's what it looks like. I'm not cowering and bowing and walking on eggshells because I may make you mad. What? Concerned with upsetting God than upsetting you. And we got to get rid of men. If there are any men on the line, I'm going to say this. Dang it, I'm going to say this. What's that stupid saying that they say? Um, it's stupid. It's so stupid I can't even remember. Listen, it goes like this. Oh my God, I can't even remember how it goes. If you happy wife, happy life. What? What the people? No. Oh heck no. No. That's not. Oh no, man. What are you talking about? Look, if you men, if you're on here, boys, if you're on here. And see, this is why our boys are they're gonna get eaten up by these girls today. Because you don't know how to lead. No, you don't. You really don't. You think, no, you don't. And you're gonna find yourself in a world of hate or in a world of hurt because you don't know how to lead. You know why? You never learned from a man, a godly man, how to lead. Come on and go with me here. Now what? How you gonna learn how to lead in a godly way and you don't have a godly man to show you? Hmm? How about that? Oh, you gonna play that card? Who said I have to lead in a godly way? Well, you done already lost. You're already blinded. Come on and go with me. So this is why he says stand. Men, stand. Stop moving and shuffling. When your wife says jump, dang it, don't say how high. Listen, there's a whole lot of words you can say instead of how high. You can say, excuse me. You can say you jump. How about that? I'm not telling you to say that, but there's a whole lot of things you could say besides how high. Stand, dang it. Now, you know we're gonna be tested. As soon as this lesson's over, The enemy is going to get in somebody that's going to test you on what was just said. I guarantee it. And then what you're going to do? He says this, though. Jeremiah says this. He says, stand in the ways. I want to deal with this. I want to deal with this ways. This word, darakim, it comes from the Hebrew word derek. Darakim, it's saying that I want you to stand, not just for a moment. No, no, no. Not just in one situation. Uh-uh. Stand ye in the ways. He's saying, I want you as a believer to make standing for Torah your manner of life. That's the journey that you're on. Listen, at the end of the day, when it all boils down, when you've made the money, when you bought the house, when you have all the toys, when you have all the things you desire, your retirement plan is set. When you have money in the bank, when all of that's done, the bottom line still is I want you to make Torah your lifestyle. That's what he's saying. And see, listen carefully. Your job, they're going to challenge you keeping Torah. And that challenge is a test to see, who do you love more? Do you love your job more? Or do you trust Yah to give you daily bread? See, many of us, we don't want daily bread. Oh no, that takes too much trust. That takes too much sacrifice. That takes too much commitment of standing in the word as a lifestyle instead of just moment by moment just to get what you want. Like Yah is a holy butler. Come on and go with me here. So he says this. Don't notice this. He says this word derakim. It means to be on a journey. You're not going to get this overnight. It means to be on a journey of standing in Torah to continue in the godly direction. See, there are going to be many people who sees your light shining, and because their life is miserable, is insufficient, is just they're counting all the mistakes they've made, they're going to be so jealous that the things that you do right, they're going to try to flip them to make it seem like you're doing the wrong things. In other words, the Bible says it like this. There are going to be people who will call righteousness wickedness and wickedness good. Come on, go with me. So I have a question. What is your course of life? What do you stand for? What is it that you say, you know what? There's a line that no one can cross. What is that line for you? Do you even have a line? Do you even know why you should have some non-negotiables? And then here's the thing. If your non-negotiables are anything besides the word of Yah, you're already losing. Oh, I'm going there. If your non-negotiables, well, Big Mama said this. Well, Auntie and them did it like this. You're already losing. Because you are, listen, as much as we love Big Mama and Annie and Uncle and them, when you use them as the standard, I was watching this divorce thing with my wife last night. And it's so interesting, you guys. It's so interesting how I'm going to say some controversial things right now, but so be it. How women today, they're hollering and saying, we want to be equal to men. And you already are equal. But we want to be equal to men. Well, dang it. I want you to keep the same energy. And I want you to treat that woman with the same disgust, with the same vitriol that you treat a man when he messes up. Come on and go with me here. How about that? How about keeping that same energy when that man cheats on his wife and doesn't take care of his children? How about having the same energy for that woman who makes the same sin? How about that? There has to be a standard of righteousness that, watch this, that applies to everyone, including us, that we hold to. See, I'm tired of people who allow some people to do things and get away with it because they're related to you. But then when someone else that's not related to you does the same thing, oh my goodness, you bring down the Barbies. You got all kinds of issues. You got issues, problems, and situations. You can't when it's somebody outside of your family tree. How about that? How about having the same energy? Because it's not, listen, I'm not partial to anyone. Because I love the Most High and His standard, we all got to surrender to that standard. How about keeping that same energy? Hmm? So here's the big question. What are the ways that we should stand in? I got somebody telling me I should do it this way. I should do. What are the ways? Well, you got people saying, well, there's more than one way to live life. Oh, really? Is it? Let's go to Exodus chapter 18. Exodus. Oh my goodness, I gotta shut this down, man. I haven't even good. Three. Exodus chapter 18. And let's look at verse 20. What are these ways? Well, let's go to verse 19. Exodus 18 and 19. Hearken, that means listen and obey, unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Now, remember this chapter. How many of you guys remember this chapter? This chapter is when Moses went to see his father-in-law, Jethro. Come on and go with me here. And Jethro, Moses was taking care of the sheep and doing all these things. And he went to Jethro, and Moses told Jethro all the stuff he was doing for the children of Israel. And Jethro said, boy, those people are going to wear you out. See, this is why we need a team concept. Come on and go with me. Notice what he says here. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, Jethro said to Moses, and God shall be with thee. See, here's the thing. All men need some older man to give them wise counsel. If you are a young man and you are getting, or a young woman, and you are getting all of your advice from your peers, they know just as much as you do, which is a thimble full of nothing. Come on. But we have Jethro, an older man, being able to give wise counsel to young Moses. Look at that dynamic. That is a righteous dynamic. Older men giving counsel to wise men or to young men. This is the ancient path as well. But we got this thing flipped upside down. The young men think they could tell the older wise men what to do. You better kiss an angel good morning, you're dealing with me. Listen, can we learn from our young people? Absolutely. But we're not talking about you can learn from anyone. That's not what we're dealing with. What we're talking about is being able to give wise counsel. We got women today who can't even guide our younger women into how to be a godly woman, a godly wife, and a godly mother. How many women do you know that can teach and nurture you in those three areas? How many women do you know? Men, how many older men do you know that can nurture you in those three areas? How to be a godly man, a godly husband, and a godly father. How many? How many do you know? A short list, isn't it? Short list. Notice what he says here. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. Notice this. And thou shalt teach, here it is. And you, Jethro said to Moses, and you shall teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God. Here are the qualifications: such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be what? Rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto you, Moses. See, here's the problem. Moses was trying to be everything to everybody. Moses, here's the problem. Moses, I'm going to use my mind and ask this question. Why would Moses feel like he had to do all that work by himself? Could it be that there were no, look at these able men around Moses? There were men there, but they weren't able. There were men, but they didn't fear God. There were men, but they weren't men of truth. There were men, but they didn't hate covetousness. There were men, but they was wet. How about that? How about that? Same thing with the women. Same thing with the women. You got women, you got friends, you got family, but they're whack. They're not righteous. They don't fear God. They're not women of truth, and they don't hate covetousness. Come on and go with me here. Oh, they look good on the outside, but when it comes to the things of the Most High, when it comes to the Torah, clueless. See, these are the ways. Notice what Moses said here. I like these qualifications. Able men. Let's look at that Hebrew word able. I want to show you something. I can. I want to show you something. Fa'il. Fa'il. You see this? Uh-huh. Men and women of strength. Able. Efficient. Now, this is interesting. They're like an army. See, in an army, you have rank. You have rank. And when you have rank, that means you have men and women who know their role. See, these are the ancient ways that Jeremiah is saying that you need to have order, not only in your home, but you need to have order in your congregation. And there are people who need to really understand that if you're going to go back to the ancient ways, and what that means again is following Torah and the Most High's instructions, you need to have a measure of power, a measure of power. And your power comes from knowing your role and your rank. Goodness, that's where your strength comes from. See, we got people who are trying to operate in roles and ranks that you're not fit for. No, I'm not giving my mother a Father's Day card. Come on and go with me here. Oh my gosh. You don't deserve it. Now, if we honored our mother and father every day, we wouldn't have to celebrate the worldly holiday called Father's and Mother's Day. And then, don't even get me started on that either. Don't- uh-oh. How many parents really deserve gifts on Mother's and Father's Day? Now you may say, well, they cook for us and they buy us, and that's what they're supposed to do. Go with me here. Give a gift because they're helping you to know who God is. How about that? Give a gift because they're discipling you in the word. Give a gift because they're showing you how to read the word and understand it. How about that? How about that standard? Okay. Oh, you don't believe that that's a biblical standard? Then you don't know your Bible. See, you didn't mess around and you're going to find out. You're going to find out real quick messing with me. Notice this to the parents. Deuteronomy 6, the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one, and thou shalt love the Lord with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words, which I command thee this day, shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them to your children. And talk with them when they sit in the house, and walketh in the way, and when thou liest down. When's the last time parents did that with their children? See, if you're going to give a gift for doing what the Most High says. And so today, by today's standard, any parent can get a gift simply because they're the parent. What? And then to be honest, they're not really parenting. Well, don't have me go there. Because they're not parenting. They think, oh man, we're clueless. But then you get somebody that comes along and really wants to parent, and then they're the enemy. The devil is a lie. See, when you got somebody, I told you that when you have somebody that really wants to stand in a lifestyle of following Torah, these are the kinds of messages you get. Come on and go with me. Come on and go with me here. So he says, listen, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to change some habits. Yeah. If you really want to go back to the ancient or old paths or ways, which Jeremiah is trying to help the Israelites prevent judgment. See, we got to put this in perspective. If you really want to prevent judgment, the sword, you got to go back to the ancient ways. However, you got preachers and pastors that are telling you to do just the opposite. How can you go every Sunday to a place that's telling you to do the opposite of what the word is doing. And you give money. Can I ask this question? It may be offensive, but what's wrong with you? Just, honestly, I don't get it. Somebody may say, well, Pastor, you used to be in the same situation. No, no, nobody was preaching to me like this. I prayed for this, but nobody was preaching to me like this. Had somebody walked into a pulpit and laid it down like this, but see, blowing the shofar. I got my shofar. Listen, verse 17, I set a watchman over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the shofar. But they said, we will not listen and obey. Can I show you what hearken means? I think it's the akuo. That's in the Greek. But in the Hebrew, oh yes, hak shivu. Hak shivu. Now watch this. In the Septuagint, I believe it's akuo. Yep. Look at this word. Akuo is the root akusati. Notice what this word in the Greek, in the Septuagint, which is the Old Testament in the Greek language, it means to be endowed with the faculty of hearing, not deaf. So it's talking about physical hearing, yes, but notice what it says, to attend to. So it means not only to physically hear, but then it means to do, to attend to. Consider what is or has been said, to understand, perceive the sense of what is said, to perceive by the ear what is announced in one's presence, to give ear to a teaching or a teacher, to comprehend. So you know we got a problem because we got folk, we got watchmen that's blowing the trumpet, but the folk are saying we will not comprehend. I'm gonna pretend like I don't understand a word he's saying. I'm gonna play the fool. I'm gonna be ignorant so that I can pretend like I don't comprehend. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yes, you do. Oh, you understand, but your heart is so black. If you say, we will not. If you say, we will not, your heart is dark and black with disobedience, rebellion, and you're preparing yourself. Oh, it may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow, but just keep waking up with that same rebellious, disobedient mindset. Oh, no, you don't cuss nobody out. No, you don't flip in the bird. You don't go wilding out. It's a quiet rebellion. Come on and go with me. Because you just say, we will not. You can't make me. I won't do it. And what are you going to do about it? I'm not going to do nothing. I'm going to keep sounding the alarm. That's what my job is. And I'm good at sounding the alarm to anyone. Listen, I don't care who you are. I don't care what scholarly level. Now, what we're going to talk about next week, I'm going to show you that from The time Jeremiah gave this prophecy, all the way to the New Testament, the call and the warning has been the same. Oh, I got scripture in every single book from the time Jeremiah gave this prophecy. In every single book that follows, and we can even go back to the book of Joshua after they came into the promised land. I've got verses. You have verses too. They're in the scriptures. In every single book that is telling Israel, which is made up of the Israelites and Gentiles, to walk in Torah. That message has never changed. It's never changed. And when we get to this word ancient or old, olam, I'm gonna close with it. Let me close with it. When he says walk in the ancient ways, what he's saying is this: these ways that he's calling the Israelites to walk in, and that I'm calling you to walk in today, and many others are calling Israelites to walk in today. He says these ancient and old ways, they're continuous, they're forever, they're everlasting, they're perpetual, unending. Because how do you please the Most High? By walking in His Torah every single day of your life. And guess what? Then you pass on that chain of custody to your children so that they can walk in Torah. Will we have mistakes? Will we sin? Will we fall? Yes. But that's not what he's saying. He's not saying be perfect. No, no. What he's saying is we need to commit to a stance that the Torah is my way of life, that the Torah is the way that I live. And so I'm going to pass that understanding instead of rebellion to my. Do you realize that when you're disobedient, you're passing that on to your children? Yeah. And so you're not passing on a legacy of obedience to divine instructions. You're passing on a legacy of disobedience and rebellion, preparing them for the sword. If you love your children, keep Torah so that you can please the Most High. If you never talk to your children about Torah, my question, I really question, do you love them? Well, yeah, I gave birth to them. I've been there with them from day one. But that's not what I asked you. Come on and go with me. Give me a dog. A dog does that. A dog gives birth. They're there until they mature. But do you love your children the way the Most High says you should love them? When you know the consequences of disobedience to Torah, you should be doing everything in your power to make sure that you teach them diligently. But how can you teach them diligently? You don't even know the word. See, these are the issues we need to deal with instead of coming up with 5 ways to get your man back. Come on, go with me. 5 ways to keep your wife happy. Oh, reaching up to grab it so that I can have blessings for a lifetime. What? And that's what you pay for. That's what you give your tithes to, and it's not helping you one bit. And why? Again, you can hate all you want. You can call me names, talk about me behind my back, all of that stuff. But here's the question: are you prepared to return to the old ways and then hear the sound? See, what went out today was a frequency Come on and go with me here. And see, everybody's not on the godly frequency, this sound. I wish I could bring physics into this. I don't have time to bring physics into this. Oh my God. Hmm. Oh no. I can't hit you with physics. I'm gonna say that till next week when I deal with this one right here. This path. This path. Trodden with feet. Feet pounding in this path. Travelers with these feet that are pounding, that are marching, standing. This frequency. Come on and go with me here, guys. I'm going there next week. Guys, I want us to make sure that we know where we stand because this is true. The shofar is going to blow one day before the final sword, and you won't have time to get it right. Come on and go with me. So you got to get it right now. You know why? Because no man knows the day nor the hour that your life is going to be required. You got to get it right now. That's why the scripture says this. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord today, tomorrow, until the Lord returns, or until my life is required of me. Do you have the fortitude to stand in that kind of conviction? Or do you just fold like a cheap table at a picnic and a barbecue? Again, that was a frequency that the only people that are able to hear that are folk who have the ear to hear that frequency. Or are you the one saying, we will not? Blessings and shalom. Blessings.